What's going on YouTube? DarkWorldMOFO here with a duel of my Dark Worlds versus an Evilswarm player. So I recorded this match and it was a really good match, but I realized that I had misplayed. I think it was only twice throughout the match, and I kind of wanted to show you guys this video and explain what misplays I made and how I made them and how it affected the game. And later on in the video I'd also like to talk about how Evil Swarms are a huge threat, even with Grapha being able to pop them. So as you can see right here, he summons a rabbit and brings out the two heliotropes. So I think I think to myself, okay, I'm playing Evil Swarms. It shouldn't be too hard of a matchup because Grapha can pop it, and then I can just kind of gain the advantage. So I go for the Mind Crush and I attempt to pop one of the Evil Swarms so he cannot overlay with them. And I look at his hand, and he ends up picking the Grapha, which is really nice. And so I attempt to pop the heliotrope, and of course he changed the dress. So then right there I'm in a little bit of trouble because he's protected his Evil Swarms and he's still able to overlay into the Ophion in main phase 2. So I take a little bit of damage, which isn't bad, and he overlays into the Ophion. And here I'm like, okay, I'm down an advantage and I don't really have a way over the Ophion. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can dig this out, maybe top deck another Dark World monster and kind of gain back stuff there. So I go for the upstart and I draw into another Foolish Burial, which is pretty dead, so I end up just ending my turn. I was thinking about doing a Silva just to get the draw. I wouldn't have been able to summon the Silva, but I could still get the draw. But I decided against that because I'd like to be able to save the Silva if I have a way to summon him later on in the game. And then right here, I thought he was just going to Cowboy me for game, which I thought was weird, so I told him I misplayed. And I showed him the Reborn. And that's the misplay that I did right there. I could have Reborn the Brow, normal summoned the Silva, and attempted to attack over the Ophion, which would have been perfect. But I misplay and I forget about that. And the card that he drew for his next turn, was a Solemn Warning. And when I attempt to do this on the next turn, it was already too late. Because he is just going to warning my Silva summon, and I'm going to proceed to lose the game from there. So that was the misplay that I did. I totally blanked on that Ophion could only stop special summons, not normal summons. And then so right here, I'm able to get rid of one of the Ophions, but he still has the other. So I'm like, okay, if I can resolve the summon of Silva, then I'm in a pretty good shape, because then he won't have any Ophions left. But I did it a turn too late, and he drew into the Solemn Warning right there, which was a card that he just set on his last turn. So I lost the duel right there. And then he offered me a rematch, and so I was like, sure, I'll take it. And I had higher hopes of winning this duel because I opened a little bit. Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't open up any better. I opened up pretty terrible. But I decided that I might be able to grind it out, maybe draw into a discard outlet, and see what I can do. So he summons a Thunderbird, and I say, that's fine. I'm not too worried, I'll take the 1650. And I draw into a Gates, I think. Yeah, I do draw into a Gates. So I go to the Gates, summon the Brow, and attempt to attack over. And he activates macro in the battle phase so that he can use his Thunderbird effect, and I chain the MST on his macro. So he's still able to banish the Thunderbird, but I don't want that macro there at all. And so I realized that he is maining macros because we did not side. We just did a second duel for fun, just to see how it is. And this is when I realized that Evil Swarms are going to be a pretty tough matchup for Dark Worlds, because if they have the dress to protect whatever cards they need to go into the Ophion, then I'm going to be in some trouble, because I don't have too many outs to an Ophion that's protected by a dress. So I really am making this video to show you guys that misplaying can really hurt, and you always have to pay attention in your duel, and that Evil Swarms are a big threat, it seems like. I'm going to need to find an out to an Ophion in my main deck, because with Evil Swarms on the rise, it's not going to be very good. And then right here he goes Infestation, which is fine. But I realized later on that I should have Judgmented because I misplayed again, and I'll show you guys what I did. So I did all this, and I set the Mind Crush in hopes of getting the Silva. And so I get the Silva play, and that's all good. And then I have the other Mind Crush for what he just added to his hand. But then I also failed to realize that he can use his Infestation from his hand to his deck. So then when I attempt a Mind Crush, I miss his card because he changed the Infestation, and then it just all goes bad from there. So he goes and he doesn't do, I think, I'm not sure. Okay, he summons the Castor and then he summons the other one. And he attempts to go, but he does go Bahamut, and I Solemn Judgment the Bahamut. That's right. But then later on, I'll show you what I do that's wrong. So I Solemn Judgment the Bahamut, right? And on my turn, I think I attempt to attack over, and he chains it. But I totally forgot that he was going to chain his Infestation, and I should have gone for the Silva play right there to attempt to attack for game. And he would be forced to let his Thunderbird die. But what he did was he added it to his hand, and I attempted to Mind Crush it, and he chained the Infestation again. And then he added another one, and I missed the Mind Crush, and then he gets to discard one out of my hand, and he didn't hit the Silva, he hits the Drag Down, which is what lost me the game from there as well. When he hit the Drag Down, I didn't have any other discard outlets, and he could just make another, and he could make a second Bahamut for game, which is what he ends up doing. So I actually misplayed twice, kind of on the same play. I should have gone the Silva play, not feared his back row, and attempted to push for game, but instead I tried to play it conservatively and do all of that stuff. But thanks guys for watching. DarkWorldMOFO out. Comment, like, subscribe. You guys know what